So at my school, it is a requirement to either take PE or to get the same PE credit, you can have you have to have done a sport or be in a sport for uh I don't know if it's all year or just like 1 or 2 years, or you can be in, I think it's like 3 of the plays that the school puts on. Um but you're supposed to have taken it by at least your sophomore year. But they'll let you take the class like, anytime. But it is like a written requirement for your sophomore year. I don't know why they have it like that. But anyway. So, because I was not willing to do a sport, I mean, I did archery for like, I think it's like 4 years. Um, but I was not willing to dip back into it. Nope. Um, and I hadn't been a part of a play at that point, and I wasn't for sure if that was ever going to happen. So I was just like, okay, I'll just take the PE credit, but some of my friends say that you don't really do anything in there, so, you know, push comes to shove, I sit in there wasting my time. Um, but apparently that class being nothing was just for all the years before mine. Yeah. So um, the got the teacher that was um, not really teaching, but like I guess sponsoring the class. Um, he had us like walk around for 10 minutes, like walk around the like little track that they have on the basketball court. And then we would do stretches and then we could do whatever. Um so the first day of the new 9 weeks I had missed. I forgot why. Um but I didn't get the memo of anything. So I come in there the next day and I was gonna be like, well, I wasn't here yesterday, so I'm catching up on all the work I missed. But he wouldn't let it slide. Um, so I just continued to walk around the track because at that time, I didn't know any of my friends were in there. Um, and then, like, I think it was the next day, I realized that, oh my god, I have like 10 friends in here. Well, not really, it was like 2. But, um, point is, I knew people in there, and that was the only thing that mattered. Um, and so, from there on out, um, let's see, it would be me, my friend Theo, my friend Sam, and my friend Eli, and we would play badminton together, right? And then later on, Eli decided that he wanted to do other things, and then we brought along 3 other friends that I ended up making. November, Caden, and Emily. And fun fact, me and Theo were the only sophomores in that group. Um, and so it worked like clockwork. Almost every day. I think after like a couple weeks we stopped doing the like walk around the track, do stretches. So like clockwork, every day we'd come in there, fart around for 5 minutes while the teacher took attendance, and then we would do our thing. We would get a net, we would get rackets, we'd get birdies, and we would go up to the upper part of the gym and play badminton the whole hour. It was great. So starting out, I was not good at badminton, like at all. When it comes to like hands-on like sports, I have very poor hand-eye coordination. Like, I'm not very good at baseball. Or I guess the female equivalent would be softball, but it's basically the same thing. Um, let's see. Not really good at like tennis. Not really good at ping pong either. So starting out badminton, I could barely serve. And so like, you know, the like, you throw it up in the air and you hit it. I could not do that. The only way that I could serve was if I served it like backhanded, I guess, or like sideways maybe. And even then, half the time I would miss. And also, like, I'm terrified at things flying toward me. So, like 90% of the time, when the birdie was coming like right towards me, I would get so scared I'd like flail my arms and still end up hitting it. And since I was like using my flight or fight response, like it would go flying and no one would be able to hit it. Either that or it would like go over the edge and then no one could hit it. But I mean, win's a win. And we never like kept score. We just kind of played to play, or like we didn't do tournament style either. Which I really liked because I don't know how like I guess professional badminton works. Like, how does that work? And like tournament style is horrendous. Like I think there was like 1 or 2 times that we did tournament style, and that 1 or 2 times was like so confusing. I did not know what was going on. But I really liked playing badminton every single day, even though I was like really bad at it. It was mainly just I was having fun with my friends, and that's all that really mattered. Like every day something new would happen. Like, I'd come home and be like, oh, Theo knocked the birdie into the AC unit again. The place that we usually would play at, like there's probably like 6 birdies in that AC unit. We have knocked so many in there. We constantly knock it like on or over the bleachers to where like the birdies are like, I guess, up against the wall, because the bleachers aren't like completely up against the wall. There's like maybe an inch or 2 like between the wall and the bleachers, so a birdie can fit like right through there. A couple times we've hit it into the bleachers, which is always really funny, especially when it's at top speed, because like it looks like it just disappears the way it like slips into the cracks. And we've hit it like over the railing, because the way the upper part of the gym works is that like, so bottom level is like the basketball court and like 2 sides of bleachers like on either side of the court, right? And then if you go upstairs, there's like 2 like strips of bleachers, I guess. They're like right over top of the bleachers downstairs. And like they're usually like put up, but when they're out, there's probably like I'd say about like 5 or 6 inches for walking space. So we'd always play in the upper part, and so we would always knock the birdie over the railing. And sometimes it would get like onto the bottom bleachers that were also put up, and we would have to send someone to climb up the bottom bleachers to get our birdie. And we would always have to send someone to climb up of the bleachers that were like right next to us whenever we would knock a birdie up there. So yeah. And so like, where we were just like playing around and there were like no stakes, like everybody like started like improving on their birdie skills, which was like actually kind of cool to see, because like beginning of the year everybody was horrible, I guess. Like we could barely like get a pass back and forth. And then like end of the school year, like if we were all like 10 times smarter, probably, we could probably have like a full-on game up there the whole hour. Of course, that never happened, but, you know. And so, like, I don't really have any specific stories that I want to talk about. I just want to talk about badminton. Um, and so, like, about the middle of the year, there was, like, a week or so, where, the coach wasn't there. And so we would go to his, like, actual classroom where he would, teach his health class with a sub. And so, like, in that week, one of the freshmen that just kind of, like, appeared, I guess, started coming to that class. And I don't know what in the world they were doing before that. Because, like, after that week, like, we started seeing them in class, and it was, like, so weird. Like, it really felt like they just kind of, like, appeared one day, and it was like, oh, where'd you come from? And, like, I had seen them, like, around school, just never in this class, and I didn't even realize they were in that class, because they were never there. And, like, they would be, like, you know, at school, like, present, but they wouldn't be in the gym class. It was very strange. I have no idea what was going on there. But anyway, and so, like, after that week, the freshmen started joining us in badminton, which wasn't necessarily a good thing, because then that meant our numbers were uneven, like, 100% of the time. So, like, but, like, they would play whenever, like, somebody was absent, or, like, because, Emily was actually the stage manager, for the theater department. And so, when they were working on the spring musical during the school days, and she would be gone, the freshmen would fill in. And it was weird. Like, freshmen by themselves are weird 100% of the time. You can be the best freshman ever, but you're still weird. And so, like, they weren't necessarily the best player in the world, which is fine. But, like, it was obvious that they weren't on par with us, if that makes sense. Like, trying to, like, put it into perspective. Like, Sam and Kaden were, like, probably the best. Because, like, there's been several games where they would just pass it back and forth to each other. And, like, Theo would always, like, double wield rackets, so, like, that kind of bumped them up. November wasn't the best, but, like, the few times that they did actually hit the birdie, like, it was, like, spot on. I mainly relied on my instincts. So, like, I could hit it pretty far, pretty hard, and pretty fast a couple times. But, like, the freshman was not any of those, if that makes sense. So, like, I don't really know how to explain it, other than, like, they weren't the best. Like, normally, like, in a game, so, like, in this scenario, Emily is not working with theater, and, like, it's just us six. If a birdie, like, would go over our heads, we would, like, either jump or run after it, or something like that. Like, we would try our best to hit the birdie, if that makes sense. But the freshmen would just let it fly over. Which is not good for business, because that means we have to wait on them to serve it, which they can't do. And it was just kind of, like, awkward, I guess. And, like, there's been a couple times where, like, we've had to wait on someone to serve because they can't, like, get in that groove, and that's okay. But, like, if it's every single time, then, like, you need to fix yourselves. That's mean. I can't say that. Um, and also, like, their personality didn't really mesh with ours, if that makes sense. Because, like, and especially where we've been, like, so tight knit for, like, the past however many weeks. And, like, I've been friends with Sam since, like, September, especially with speech, because, like, he's on speech and debate with me, or at least was, because he's graduated. Um, but, and, like, we would see each other, like, at least once a week at practices, and then, we would hang out at tournaments, so, like, we're close. Um, and, like, Theo, been friends with them since middle school. And then, like, November and Kaden, like, I had just gotten friends with them, and, like, we're besties. But with, and Emily, like, first time meeting her, besties. And, like, where the freshman just kind of, like, appeared and invited herself to play with us, it was, like, very, like, weird. um, and then, like, I don't really know how to explain this, but, like, their, like, vocabulary and, like, catchphrases, we'll say, like, kind of put me off personally. I don't know if anybody else, like, noticed or cared, but I did. um, and, like, there's been a couple times where, like, I would do something or say something, and she'd refer to me as, like, child. Like, she'll be like, child, what are you doing? Or something like that. It just kind of made me uncomfortable. I don't really know why. I think it was just because a younger person was referring to me as, like, lesser than. And, like, at this time I was already, like, dealing with people who treated me lesser than. So it was like, and then, like, she would, like, take initiative to, like, do, like, I guess, jobs, quote unquote, that, like, people already had. Like, whenever the birdie would, like, go up into the bleachers, she would invite herself to go and get it, even though, like, it was already, like, it was, like, an unspoken rule that Kaden was the one who would go and get the birdies if they were knocked up on there. And, like, there was one day, where she had went up there to get a birdie and just kind of, like, stood there. And the coach had to, like, come up and be like, hey, get down from there. I don't like students getting up there because it's, like, really dangerous and stuff, and, like, you could fall and get hurt. And it was just very weird. And, like, there was one day, so we play in the upper part of the gym, and so we play, like, so imagine, like, a strip of concrete, I guess, bleachers on the back, railing on the front, and so on the left side is a stairwell, and then on the right side is a door to, like, the upper, like, level of the school, I guess, like, the second floor. So we would play near the stairwell, and so there was, like, two freshmen who would play together near the door. And so there was one day, it was the day that our freshman went up on the bleachers, and so, like, the two freshmen who were playing, like, came up to us, like, when we were cleaning up. They were like, what is your problem, basically? And Sam was talking to them, and I was, like, kind of eavesdropping, but not really, because it was, like, a public conversation. But, so, apparently, they were in the same grade. Ironic. And I'm pretty sure that was obvious because I called them freshmen. But, and, like, I think one of them said that they had class with her, and that she's, like, always acting like that which is even more weird. And like, Sim was talking to them, and he was basically like, yeah, she kind of invited herself to play with us. We don't know why, we don't know how, but like, nobody really likes her that much. That's so mean. But like, we just kind of accepted that she was there and stuff. But yeah. Change it aside. And so it was the last. So fast forward. It's the last week of school. Like, all the seniors are doing stuff. And so like, we like maybe got one day to play together. And then so Thursday was my last day instead of Friday, because I just decided to take Friday off because I was like, I don't really care that much to come on a half day. And I don't want to be with people who don't like me. And so Thursday, last day, I haven't seen like anybody all week. And like, me and Theo just kind of decided that we just weren't gonna play if there was nobody else. I'm not sure why, but that happened. And so so our last day playing together, and Sam made that abundantly clear. Love him. And like, it was just kind of this like surreal experience. It was like, I'm never gonna see these people like ever again, and I'm probably never gonna get a chance to talk to them ever again, and blah 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 blah, whatever. I went to graduation, so I got to see them one last time before they went off to college. And like, it kind of felt like that class lasted for like hours instead of just one. And yeah, we played tournament style for like a little bit, and then like we stopped. I don't know. Like, I think we like completed the tournament, I guess. I don't know who won. But if there was one thing that me and Sam share in common, is that we hate tournament style. He just wanted to play for fun, and he was like, I don't know why I agreed to those. But and so there's kind of like a lull in the game where like nobody was really playing, and it was like almost the end of class, so we were just kind of hanging out. And so I walked over to Sam and November, who were talking, and apparently, like, when I got there, they were talking about like everybody improving over time and blah 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 blah. And they thought that I improved the most, and that really made me feel good because I was not good at badminton. And it was just kind of like, yeah, you know. But I will always remember the times where Caden would take apart the net to fish out all the good birdies from the rafters, because they always got stuck up in the rafters. And then, after losing so many birdies, the coach had to buy more, but the ones that he bought were the worst, and they kept falling apart. And on the last day, when we were playing tournament style, whenever it wasn't my turn, I would, so we just, like, brung up the bag of birdies with us for some reason. And so I would take the bad birdies, and I would hit them against the wall until they fell apart. It was pretty fun. And, like, there's been a couple times where we would play with the bad ones, and, like, they would break apart midair. There was one time the freshman, pitched a bad one to me. Like, she served it, and then it went towards me, and it broke apart midair, and, like, the head, like, hit me in the neck, and it hurt so much. And then once they break apart, they're, like, unusable, because the head kind of, like, tells it where to go, I guess. I don't know. Like, where it's the most of the weight, and it's, like, right up front, like, you could figure it out. But yeah, that's how I became a badminton pro, kind of. Um, I will end up doing the character videos things that I made the community post about. Um, I don't know how I want to do them. I just know that I don't want to do like this format. Um, I got 2 votes for yes, so like 2 out of 2 votes voted yes. So I'm gonna do it. I was gonna do it anyway, probably. I just wanted to feel validated. um, but yeah, I'm probably never gonna talk about the Outsiders musical again. By the way, because seeing articles about it makes me sad. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. Goodbye.